All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive, and today we're talking about a book that's become a bit of a cult classic, I would say, in the world of personal finance.
Mm-hmm.
The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool about this one is that it was originally written as a series of letters from Collins to his daughter. So it's got this really personal, kind of approachable vibe.
Right. Yeah. It's not like a textbook.
Exactly. And,
Got it.
and that's one of the things I really liked about it. So we're going to unpack some of the core principles that he lays out for achieving financial independence.
Okay.
And we're going to touch on that kind of intriguing concept that he calls FU money.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's probably what a lot of people want to get out of this is like, how do I get to that point?
Exactly, yeah. How do we reach that?
That level of freedom, right?
Yeah, so let's just jump right in.
Okay.
One of the first things that really struck me was Collins' stance on debt. He really doesn't mince words. He calls it the biggest obstacle to financial freedom.
Yes. And he's not just talking about like avoiding, spending on frivolous things and racking up credit card debt.
Right.
He really digs into the mechanics of debt and how compound interest works against you when you're in debt.
Yeah.
And even seemingly small debts can kind of snowball over time
Right.
and siphon away money that could be used for building wealth.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not just about like, oh, I should cut up my credit cards. It's bigger than, it's a whole.
It's a mindset shift.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The whole way of looking at how that stuff can actually sabotage you in the long run.
Yeah.
What resonated with you about his take on debt?
I think his emphasis on kind of shifting your mindset from consumer to owner is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's recognizing that every dollar you spend on interest payments is a dollar that could be working for you instead.
Oh, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of working against you,
Mm-hmm.
it's working for you. That's a really good point. So less debt,
Mm-hmm.
more ownership.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, how do we actually build wealth? Collins keeps coming back to a principle that sounds so simple.
Right.
Spend less than you earn.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do
It is, but it's,
in practice.
yeah, it really is. It's like so obvious, but it's where so many people, I think, trip up.
I think so.
Right.
And he does provide some really good practical advice, though, in the book
Right.
for like tracking your spend, identifying areas where you could cut back,
Mm.
developing a budgeting system that works for you.
Okay.
He even talks about kind of the psychology of spending, like understanding those impulse purchases and emotional triggers.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
That we all have.
So it's not about deprivation. It's about
Yeah.
being mindful, being intentional with your money.
Intentional. Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and then once you have the money to invest, Collins is a huge advocate for index funds. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He specifically champions Vanguard's VTSAX, which is a low-cost index fund that tracks the entire stock market. So to break that down, it basically means that you're buying tiny pieces of thousands of different companies.
Go.
So you're spreading your risk across the market as a whole, as opposed to like, picking individual stocks and trying to like time the market perfectly.
Right.
You're betting on the long-term growth of the economy.
Mm-hmm. What brings us to this very intriguing 4% rule.
Yeah.
I think that's where people get really excited when they start thinking about this concept.
Yeah, it is exciting. I mean, so the 4% rule basically suggests that once your investments reach 25 times your annual expenses,
Oh.
you can retire and safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year, adjusting for inflation without running out of money.
Okay, I'm going to throw some numbers out here.
Okay.
So let's say you figure out that you need like $40,000 a year to cover all your living expenses.
Okay.
According to the 4% rule, you'd need $1 million saved up to achieve financial independence.
Bring that.
$1 million, and then you could theoretically, walk away from your job and
Yeah.
and live off of those investments.
Yeah, and and it does depend. Everyone's situation is different.
Right.
But that's the general
That's the idea.
idea.
Framework.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that the 4% rule is based on historical market data.
Yes, definitely.
It's not a foolproof guarantee.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors that
Who knows what could happen?
exactly that it is that.
But it's helpful as a framework, right? As a way to think about it.
Exactly. It gives you like a target to shoot for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gives you that tangible
Yeah.
number in mind. And no matter what your target number is,
Yeah.
that journey to financial independence can be a long one.
It can be. Yeah.
And Collins talks about the importance of kind of tuning out
Yeah.
all the market noise,
Mhm.
which I think is really key.
Yeah. Those day-to-day or even, month-to-month fluctuations
Right.
can be really nerve-wracking.
Especially when you're just getting started.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I just lost 10% of my
Yes.
portfolio, you know. But he emphasizes that time in the market
Yes.
is more important than timing the market.
It's the long game.
It is. It is the long game. And historically, that has proven to be true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen time and time again that the market tends to go up over the long term.
Hmm. Okay, so we've talked about avoiding bad debt, spending less than you earn, investing in these index funds,
Mm-hmm.
riding out all those market fluctuations. It all sounds so simple
Right. It does sound simple when you lay it out like that.
when you lay it out like
That
that.
doesn't mean it's easy.
No, it doesn't.
It takes discipline, it takes patience,
Yes.
willingness to delay gratification.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where this idea of FU money comes in.
Yeah.
Um, it's about having the financial freedom to live life on your own terms, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about having the security to make choices that really align with your values.
Okay.
So that could look like taking a career risk. Maybe starting your own business or even just having the option to walk away from a job
Great.
that's no longer fulfilling.
It's no longer a good fit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not about telling people off. I think
Yeah.
that's what's so funny about the term.
Right. It's not about being reckless or irresponsible with your money.
Yo.
It's just about having that freedom to say yes.
To say yes to the things that really matter to you.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's about empowerment.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of your finances so that money isn't a source of stress and anxiety,
Right.
but it's a tool that allows you to live like a richer and more meaningful life.
I think that's the key takeaway there. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the simple path to wealth, here's something to ponder.
Okay.
What is one small step you could take today to start moving towards that version of financial freedom that resonates with you? Maybe it's setting up a budget.
Yeah.
Maybe it's automating your savings. Maybe it's picking up a copy of the book and diving in. The journey starts with a single step. So until next time, happy investing.